Hey guys, we're already deep into 2025. We've seen tons of awesome video games drop, and we've talked about plenty of them before. So today, we are putting together a list of the 10 best games of 2025 so far, roughly from the first half of the year. There were honestly so many good ones that cutting it down to just 10 was tough. These are the games our Gameverse team really enjoyed, and the ones players everywhere can't stop talking about. Alright, let's jump straight in. Kicking things off with number 10. Hazelight's latest release, Split Fiction, is straight up incredible. Now, does it hit the same emotional peaks in storytelling as their earlier title, It Takes Two? Maybe not quite. But where Split Fiction truly shines is in its wild creativity, insane level designs, and unpredictably fun gameplay moments. If you've played any of their past titles, you already know. This one's built completely around co-op gameplay. You and a partner can jump into the story together with just one copy of the game, taking on the roles of two authors in a cinematic and playful adventure. One of them's a sci-fi writer, the other's a fantasy storyteller, and out of nowhere, they get pulled right into their own creations. Suddenly, they're running, jumping, and fighting to stay alive inside the worlds they imagined. The whole thing is just beautifully crafted, super creative, well-paced, and keeps you hooked from start to finish. You'll go from massive fantasy battlegrounds, soaring alongside dragons, and diving into mystical, sand-filled adventures that give off Dune or Prince of Persia vibes, all the way to neon-lit cyberpunk cities bursting with style and chaos. You'll also find yourself in robot factories and all sorts of bizarre, mind-bending locations. This game never stops being fun. But honestly, that final sequence? It does something so visually and technically wild that you really have to see it to believe it. If you're someone who truly loves gaming and appreciates how far technology and visuals have evolved over the years, Split Fiction will absolutely blow your mind. No spoilers here. Just trust me, the ending is next level. Alright, moving on. Coming in at number 9, we've got something a bit different. Next up, we've got The Altars, the newest title from the creators of Frostpunk and This War of Mine. The best way to describe this one, and I said it before, is like Fallout Shelter, but in full 3D and packed with a much deeper story. You play as Jandolski, a man stranded alone on a distant planet with nothing but his space station. His mission? Stay alive. The problem is, that station was meant to be run by an entire crew. And now, they're all gone. So, with no other option left, he starts cloning himself to survive. He needs help to keep things running, from researching new tech, cooking meals, and venturing outside the station to gather resources. So, to get it all done, he creates more versions of himself. Each clone? It's a version of him that lived a completely different life. Need a medic? He builds a medical lab and clones the version of himself who actually went to med school. It's strange, mind-bending, and honestly, one of the most unique survival experiences out there. Weird in the best way possible, and totally addictive to play. From a story and character standpoint, it totally delivers. Plus, it's just a solid sci-fi experience with some seriously good survival mechanics mixed in. If you're into games that push your skills, love strange sci-fi worlds, or enjoy experimental, mid-budget titles, this one's definitely worth a look. Honestly, The Altars might just surprise you in the best way. Now moving on, number 8 brings us something completely different. The brand new Mario Kart world. Yep, Mario Kart is back. And it's bigger than ever. But the real question is this the best Mario Kart yet? I think the verdict's still up in the air on that one. Is it really worth the $80? Hard to say just yet, but what is undeniable is that it's still an awesome Mario Kart experience through and through. The variety of tracks and environments is wild, especially with that open world setup. Some of the map designs are insanely detailed, from the tiny environmental touches to the character skins. Everything feels polished. Nintendo clearly went with the classic, if it isn't broken, don't mess with it mindset. And honestly, it totally works here. Still, it has got plenty of new tricks to keep things fresh, from unique items and new movesets to a seriously fun online lineup. And let's not forget the Knockout Tour mode, easily one of the highlights for me. It adds that extra layer of chaos that makes every race feel unpredictable. This is absolutely a game best played with friends, but even solo, it holds up as one of 2025's most enjoyable releases. I'm really curious to see how it performs overall, because let's be honest, Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe are still among the best-selling games ever made. I'm honestly curious to see if Mario Kart World keeps up that same legendary momentum. Now sliding into number 7, we've got the first Berserker, Khazan, and if you're craving a Souls-like this year that actually delivers, don't overlook this one. Since its launch, the game's been steadily gaining traction, pulling in more players every week and stacking up impressive Steam reviews. And yeah, it is absolutely worth checking out, even if it is inspired by something that not every gamer might immediately recognize. It is actually set in the Dungeon and Fighter universe, But even if you've never played those games, this one stands perfectly on its own. It's brutally tough, even by Souls-like standards. So yeah, if you're into that kind of painful satisfaction, this game's calling your name. Now moving on to number 6, we've got something totally unexpected. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. This one kind of appeared out of nowhere, and has been quietly rising up the charts, with both Steam and console players falling in love with it. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, basically gives off major Elder Scrolls vibes. It's that classic open-world RPG formula, with the same focus on loot, combat, and exploration systems, but dropped into a much darker, more mysterious fantasy world. Sure, visually, it might not blow you away at first glance, but it makes up for that with imaginative art design, strong music, and some really immersive world building. For players craving that Bethesda-style adventure, the kind we have all been waiting forever to see again, Tainted Grail scratches that itch perfectly. So in the end, Tainted Grail. The Fall of Avalon kind of beat everyone else to the punch, and honestly, it's a refreshing surprise. Sure, it wears its inspirations on its sleeve, but it still manages to feel unique and fun in its own way. Fans have been craving a game like this, and they finally got what they wanted. A dark fantasy RPG that actually delivers. It's surprisingly cool, doesn't drag on forever, and wraps up just before it overstays its welcome. If this sounds like your kind of genre, you should definitely give it a shot. Now, moving into number 5, the legend returns. Doom. The Dark Ages. Doom is back once again, and yeah, it's as wild as ever, as they've really switched up the formula this time. Doom, 2016, was more straight to the point. Doom Eternal cranked up the speed and resource management, and now Doom. The Dark Ages brings its own heavy twist. It's a bit slower and chunkier, yet still insanely aggressive and fast-paced, with fresh changes to the setting, weapon types, and even level design. You'll find yourself piloting massive mechs or soaring through the air on a fire-breathing half-machine dragon. It's pure chaos, like watching a heavy metal album cover explode into real life. It is not flawless. I'll be real. A few of those mech moments can start to feel a bit repetitive, but the moment-to-moment action, absolutely unreal. Hurling that razor-edged shield like some brutal version of Captain America, then blasting demons point blank with a shotgun. It's pure satisfaction. What I really love about these newer Doom titles is that they're not afraid to experiment. Each one tries something new, which means every fan ends up having their own personal favorite. So the big question is, will Doom, the Dark Ages, end up being yours? I mean, who knows? But hey, there's literally a gun that fires crushed skulls as shrapnel. Yeah, they definitely pushed the limits of creative brutality here. And honestly, I'm all for it. Now sliding into number 4, we've got Death Stranding 2, the newest release from Hideo Kojima and his legendary team at Kojima Productions. And just like the original, it's, well, very Kojima. You're still delivering packages, exploring surreal landscapes, and making connections along the way. So, if the first game wasn't your thing, this one might not totally change your mind. But this time, they've really leveled things up. The combat feels smoother and way more dynamic, packed with new abilities that actually make every encounter exciting. Stealth mechanics also got a serious upgrade. You've now got a bunch of clever tools that make sneaking around way more satisfying. For me, the story pacing is much tighter this time, spread out in a way that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Visually, it's stunning. The soundtrack and ambient music just pull you right in. From massive boss fights to those signature Kojima-style cinematic sequences, this game is filled with unforgettable moments. Now, moving into number 3, we've got Elden Ring, Nightreign. If you've been craving more Elden Ring, this one takes things in a slightly different direction. It's not exactly for every Souls or FromSoft fan, but Elden Ring, Nightreign still brings something fresh and exciting, especially when played with a good group of friends. The game can get brutally tough, featuring a lineup of bosses that hit hard and scale in difficulty the deeper you go. You and your team can jump into wide, open-world zones, pick your character class, and tackle challenges together in a way that feels both new and familiar. It is also a great way to step outside your usual playstyle. Try a build you normally wouldn't see. You'll even run into a mix of familiar and brand new bosses, making it the perfect game to keep you busy until From Software drops their next big project, whenever that happens. Now sliding into number 2, we've got Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. And man, this one caught a lot of people off guard. It's a cinematic, JRPG-style adventure, packed with turn-based combat, a powerful story, and a fresh, imaginative world, unlike anything else out right now. Expedition 33 dives into a truly fascinating story, following a group of travelers living in a world where, every single year, the oldest generation mysteriously dies out. Each year, a new team of adventurers sets off to uncover the truth and confront the mystical paintress, the being behind this tragic cycle. The world itself is breathtaking, filled with strange creatures, magical magical landscapes and memorable characters. And those turn-based battles? They're insanely well done, stylish, strategic, and deeply satisfying. If you're a fan of classics like Lost Odyssey, this one's absolutely going to pull you in. Whether you're into Final Fantasy or any classic turn-based RPG, this one totally delivers, with intense battles, epic boss fights, and a healthy dose of challenge. What's cool is that it mixes in a few real-time elements too. Between turns, you can actually dodge or parry attacks, which keeps every fight feeling tense and dynamic. Some of those bosses absolutely brutal, in the best way possible. So whether you're here for the deep RPG systems or just want a powerful story that sticks with you, Expedition 33 absolutely nails it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This game truly deserves all the love its sister-ass getting. It is honestly one of my favorite games of the year. From the music to the creativity and even the story behind its development, everything about it just hits perfectly. And now, down to number 1. A game we can't stop talking about. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Everyone on the Gameverse team had an absolute blast with this one. It's a bigger, bolder sequel, featuring a massive open world, richer towns, and deeper side quests. The world feels more alive, the NPCs are more believable, and it's another chance to fully step into the life of Henry of Skalitz once again. Set in a historically accurate medieval world, this sequel perfectly captures what life was really like back then. From gritty sword duels and intense horseback combat to the chaos of full-scale warfare. What makes it shine even more are its incredible characters. You can feel the passion and craftsmanship poured into every detail. It's the kind of world you just lose yourself in for hours without even realizing it. I already loved the first Kingdom Come, Deliverance, but Deliverance 2 takes everything the original promised and finally brings it to life. Bigger, sharper, and more refined in every way. It's not just a sequel, it's a full-on technical masterpiece. It's not just a technical masterpiece, it's a creative triumph too. And honestly, I think every gamer should give it a shot. So, that wraps up our list of the 10 best games of 2025. Well, almost. Like I said earlier, it's tough to squeeze everything into just 10 picks. So yeah, we're cheating a little with a quick bonus section. First up, Schedule I. You've probably seen clips of this one going viral, and trust me, the hype was real. It's basically a drug dealer simulator with a colorful cartoony style, but underneath all that, it's got solid gameplay depth that totally hooks you. And then there's Blueprints. If you're into puzzle games, this one is absolutely worth your time. This one is absolutely for you. Hands down, one of the best puzzle experiences we've seen in years. And that says a lot, because this genre already has some serious heavy hitters. But Blueprints, it's on a whole other level. Next up, Ender Magnolia. If you're in the mood for something a little different, this one's a 2D Metroidvania with a gorgeous anime-inspired art style and tons of personality. It quietly dropped right at the start of 2025, flying under most people's radar. But by now, it's earned its place as a hidden gem that fans are finally starting to recognize. It's now sitting at overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, and for good reason. And lastly, but definitely not least, don't skip out on Dune: Awakening. Now that it's fully released, it has turned out to be an awesome mix of survival and RPG, with some MMO-style systems thrown in. Exploring, building, and surviving on the sands of Arrakis feels every bit as epic as you'd hope. So yeah, those are around 10 of the best games of 2025 so far. Of course, lists like these are always up for debate. We argued about this one ourselves, so now it's your turn. Drop your personal favorites down in the comments, and let's see which games made your top list for 2025. If you enjoy hanging out and talking about games with us every day, all you gotta do is tap that like button. It really helps a ton. And hey, if you haven't yet, consider subscribing, because we're dropping new videos daily, covering the best, weirdest, and most talked about stuff in gaming. Either way, thanks a ton for watching, and as always, we'll catch you in the next one.